Okay, in this question, we're asked to find the speed of Sarah's car on the first part of the trip. Okay? So let's do, so the first part of the trip, let's call that, say, T1. So I have 20 miles an hour faster on the first 160. So I guess the distance here is 160. Oh, on trip 2, the distance would be 80. And speed, I don't know how fast they're going. But this, say this T2 is, the speed is X. So this is their velocity. And the velocity here is going to be X plus 20. It's going 20 miles an hour faster. And then the time, I don't know what the time is. Time, it doesn't say time for either. Oh, but it does say if you add those two times together, it comes out to 4. Okay. So, this is how I would maybe start the question and say that the time for the first part plus the time for the second part is equal to 4 hours. And now I need to use this information, and solve for time. Okay, so for trip one, distance is equal to rate times time, but I want to solve for time. So I'll divide both sides by r. So I get distance over rate. Yeah. Okay, so the distance is 160, and the rate of speed is x plus 20. Okay, for trip 2, same game. Time is equal to distance over rate. The distance this time is 80, and the rate is x. So here is trip time 2, and here is time 1. So time 1 is 160 over x plus 20, plus time 2 is 80 over x, and all that has to be equal to 4. Okay, so this is solving a rational equation, and we haven't done a lot of that yet, but this is how you would solve that. You'd find a lowest common denominator, which will be x plus 20 and x, and you multiply every term by that. So let me write that. So 160 over x plus 20 plus 80 over x is equal to 4. So I'll take this term and times it by x and x plus 20. That's the common denominator. Same thing with this, x and x plus 20. And this one will multiply by x and x plus 20. Okay, so the x plus 20's cancel here. I'll be left with 160x plus, here the x's cancel, and I'm left with 80 times x plus 20. And then on the other side, I'm going to have a lot of stuff. I'll rewrite it as 4 times x plus 20. Now let's simplify and see what we come up with. 160x plus 80x plus 1600, just distributing that. And then distribute this, 4x squared plus 80x. Okay, I think I'm feeling okay so far. This has an x squared, so I need to solve a quadratic. So let's bring everything over to the right-hand side. So I'll have 0 is equal to 4x squared plus 80x, that's this one. And then this one will be a minus 80x. And then this one will be a minus 160x. And then this will be minus 1600. Okay, let's see what we have so far. So 4x squared, these two cancel, minus 160x, minus 1600. Now there's a common factor of 4. Let's divide everybody by 4. So this would be 40x minus 400, I think. Okay, so now, I want to factor this. So I need two numbers that multiply to negative 400. And the same two numbers need to add to negative 40. Oh. Like 80 times 5. Could be negative, but that'll give me negative 400, but it won't give me negative 40. How about 40 times 10? That gives me negative 400, but it gives me a difference of only 30. Maybe I have to go a little higher than that. How about 50? Negative 50. 50 goes into there 2, 4, 6, 8 times. Difference there is negative 42. Difference here was negative 30. So I'm close. It has to be somewhere in between there. 45. I don't know if 45 will go evenly. Okay, so I want to find those two numbers. Let me pause and figure out what they are. Okay, I tried factoring that. I couldn't find any numbers. But I know the numbers got to be in between those somewhere. Like in between 40 and 50. So another way you can solve a quadratic function, and we haven't done this in class yet, I know, so it won't be on this portion of the test, but the next section we do, it'll be on. But another way to solve this is to use the quadratic formula. And you'll have used that before in Math 20. Okay, so this quadratic formula, where a stands for the number in front of the x squared, b is this number, and c is this number. So I'm just going to rewrite it again, putting blanks where I need to plug a number in. Okay, so b is negative 40. B, another negative 40. A is 1. And C is negative 400. Okay, so this would be positive 40 plus or minus the square root of 1600. This will be plus 1600. All over, oh, I forgot that A on the bottom is 1. All over 2. So 40 plus or minus, that'll be 3200 all over 2. Okay, we can do that on our calculator. Let me grab a calculator. Okay, so bracket 40 plus square root of 3200, whoops. Bracket divided by 2. There we go, 48.2, 48.3. So we'll call this about 48. About 48. So that's what x is. Let's see if I'm using the right variable there. Yeah, x. And so x, if I look way back up there, x was related to the speed of the car. So, so x is my speed. Maybe that's as high as I went. Right here. So the speed for the second part of the trip would be 48. And then the speed for the first part of the trip would be 48 plus 20, or 68. So find the speed of Sarah's car on the first part, 68. So I'd pick that one. Right, hopefully that helps you with that one. That's a tougher question, especially because you had to use a quadratic function to solve it.